Hi everyone, my name is Claire and I'm going to be taking you through the timetable generator, part 4 actually. So I will start with the table contents. This video is going to be a short video and I'll only talk about the AI problem to be investigated, that is the timetable generator, a brief background, significance of this timetable, AI project scope, problem statement, AI research question, the hypothesis, AI research objectives, and the methodologies. Uh, the AI problem to be investigated, as I told you, it's going to be we are investigating about the timetable generation. Like we want to eliminate that part of where someone has to manually formulate a timetable, you do paperwork. Yeah. So with this automatic timetable generator, the system will generate for you the timetables you want automatically based on the requirements that you give. A brief background about the automatic timetable generator. Here, the assembling process of an academic timetable, as I told you, it is so hectic. Like it's hard to come up with a perfect timetable. For example, for a big university like Makerere University, where we have many colleges, we have college of education, college of computing, like have many colleges. So coming up with different timetables for those specific colleges really it takes time and it's really hard stuff to do so. And with this automatic generator, one has to just specify the requirements. For example, the professor availability, like which 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 kind of lecture they going to have. For example, to go into the computing sector, we have different lecturers of which they handle different questionnaires, so that we shall consider professor availability, like are there enough professors to handle this lecture, or then the courses and their workload. You can't tell lecturer to have more than three lectures a day. For example, if you have a lecture for 3 hours, at least you need to get a break in order to go in for a different or other lecture. So we also consider that workload, and also we consider the students and the classrooms, like the lecture rooms that are going to be available to handle particular lectures. For example, we don't want to clash, like you have a lecture, for example, you have a database lecture, and at the same time you have a discrete lecture and using the same class. No, that will bring in confusion, like students won't be attentive, will be interrupted. So that is a brief background about what I'm doing. I don't want to have clashes in that. So with this timetable generator, you have to specify even the rooms, like the lecture rooms available for you to generate a perfect timetable. The significance of this timetable generator, as I told you, it is so hard. It takes time to formulate a timetable. So the significance of the timetable to save time and efforts, because you don't have to do paperwork, you don't have to start, you take a full week trying to come up with the perfect timetable. As you do try and error. So with this timetable, putting in the requirements you want you to formulate your timetable automatically there and then. So it won't take time. It reduces error. As you know, humans, we are so prone to errors. Like, yeah, it is something everyone can literally do. And you can be formulating your timetable and then you remember, oh, I've missed out this lecture because of not planning, maybe, or because you want to fix it in somewhere and you had forgotten about it. So with this timetable generator, it reduces those errors, because at first you have to plan for what you're going to be putting. Those are the requirements. So for it only bases on the requirements that you've given to formulate it. You can't like it totally has little errors or no errors. It is secure and friendly, as everyone's going to be having his or her own interface, that is to say the users, the end users and the students, and that mean that is the administration. So the admin will have a different user interface compared to student interface, and whatever changes that we will put in to automatically reflect to the student's interface also. So it is very secure and user friendly to all end users. Instant notification. I told you we're going to put in a part where, in case you make any changes, they have to reflect to both your system and the student system. So with that, it will have to give instant notification there, and then it is easily manageable, easily customized. So it also does the calculations. Like for example, the calculation part of it is going to be like the number of hours particularly for that lecture, and also, for example, you can have a lecture starting at maybe 9 and it ends at 11, and you also have a lecture starting at 2 as it's going to end at 4. So it will be doing some calculations, paperless environment. We want to do green computing, but we can't do green computing when we still have such stuff like we have to formulate tables on paper. So with this, it actually promotes green computing where you don't need to do work on the paper. You just put in the requirements in your PC and it formulates the timetable automatically. The scope, mainly the scope, it's the background. Like as I told about the background of this AI project, the scope is going to be like the boundaries of this project. So the timetable generator, it's going to mainly deal on the calendar of the teacher, the calendar of the semester, the capacity, physical resources such as lecture rooms, the rules applicable at different lectures. As you know, material does both science and arts, and some lectures are practical. For example, we may have practical lessons, and the practical lessons are usually handled in specified places, like specific places. For example, if you have a practical for maybe computing, there are labs that we use to do those practicals. So for this timetable generator, it will even put for you, like, for example, if you have a practical lecture, instead of putting a lecture room, for example, let me say 1A, it will put for you lab, a specific lab that you're going to handle that lecture from, as it respects the rules applicable at that lecture time. So the timetable generator also optimizes and utilizes all the resources as long as you have identified properly the requirements. The problem statement, mainly, major problem is in complexity of the timetable solution, as one has to consider all the constraints and algorithm in the search algorithm. The constraints here, we have the hard constraints and the soft constraints. Like the hard constraints, these are like, for example, one lecturer can't handle two classes at the same time. That is a hard constraint. But the soft constraint, this is where maybe students are having a lecture at the same time, that is maybe a period for break time. That is a soft constraint because they can literally do away all the break time, can still read. The searching algorithms here, we shall use the generic algorithm and iterative local search. We also have this, okay, it's a lesser problem, but the problem of getting the requirements for the timetable in case you specify them wrong, that is a lesser problem, but it affects the timetable. The AI research questions with regards to interpretability. First of all, interpretability refers to the ability of the user to understand the importance or significance of models' decisions or outcomes. Now, here with interpretability, our AI system should be in position to interpret whatever data we're going to be putting in and give the the correct results or the correct solution as regards to what it's formulating. Some questions about interpretability are like, for example, how can one evaluate and assess the quality of interpreting? Our timetable generator will also put that into consideration as it helps in measuring the effects of the trade-offs in the models, the hypothesis, the timetable generator. Mainly, the hypothesis is a proposed explanation that is made based on the available evidence to act as a start point as one does more investigation. Mainly, it is a prediction that you can make, like, for example, as regards to the timetable generator, you can make a prediction like, when I put in these requirements, what do you expect? Like, what do you predict? So that is the hypothesis. It's assumed that when you clearly set the right constraints for the timetable generator, it will give one solution. But remember, we're using such algorithms such as the heuristic. So it literally gives many solutions, just that it selects the solution for you. And just in case you don't want the solution, yeah, it is so optimal. and select the best solution, like an optimal solution. But in case you're not conversant with it, you can go with other solutions because the timetable generator will give a variety, like a series of solutions where you can even choose to select one that is well conversant, like one that you're well conversant with, or one that does well that best according to you. AI research objective for the timetable generator. So the objectives here, I'm going to clearly state on the three objectives. The first objective is to automatically generate timetables for the institution every semester. Like at every start of the semester, we usually have a timetable to follow, the timetable for the lectures and timetable for the exam. So it will generate the timetables for us to give alerts in form of emails or SMS to both students and the lecturers concerning the changes made to the system. Like you can be somewhere and they do some changes and do not update it. For example, if students, maybe students are always working class, so they can be at work and they miss out some lectures due to not being notified. But with the timetable generator, they will be notified for it. To create different views for each user, as I told you, we shall have different user interfaces for all the end users. The AI methodology for the timetable generator, here we're going to use only two. We shall use the genetic and the iterated local search, where the genetic is a meta heuristic that has been proved by many people. Like many people have been using it to do uh, related concepts. For example, different timetables and computations timetables have been using genetic algorithm. That's why I decided to go with genetic algorithm for this, since of that record, like it has been so successful and people have been using it. So and I also go with the iterated local search algorithm. So it is also a meta heuristic that uses iterative processes to come up with a number of solutions. As I told you, we shall have many solutions as that you have to select one that is appropriate for you. For references, in case you want to read more about temple generation, you can tap on those references and in acknowledgement. I'd like to acknowledge my lecturer, Mr. Marvin, who has been there like supporting me to push my timetable generator. He's in the Department of Computer Science, Makerere University. This lecturer has really helped me a lot during the generation of the timetable. So the conclusion, I'd like to thank you for watching me. Thank you for your time, but you can still subscribe for more views. You can always subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching.